This is a second video on the replacement of the ink sac on this Osmiroid India ink sketch pen. Now, I started fiddling with it after I finished the video because I wanted to check it. And this is actually rusting a little bit, so I want to get that off of there. But you can see I need a new ink sac. But that's mainly rust on the rubber. But this is how this comes apart. Because I know one set comes with a converter. So I was trying to figure out how they give you, not a converter, but a cartridge. And I'm thinking, how and why would they give people a cartridge when this obviously doesn't come apart? But anyway, this slides on like that. And that gives you the squeeze fill, and this goes up further on this section. But so you slide this off, which then gives you your two sides of your squeeze fill, and then you just pop this off in order to put a new ink sac on. And you can watch my video on the other, I just made a video on Osmiroid lever fills and replacing an ink sac. So I know I've done this before, and I think this just pops off. I'm trying not to break the pen on camera, but obviously I have to take, this is all hardened under there. So worst case scenario is you have to leave this metal bracket on there. No, it does pop off. You see, it's old metal, and I don't want that to break because then it would be more or less useless. So now we're at an old grungy ink sac that I can put a new one on. So let's just go ahead. I'm not going to completely put a new sac on, but let's get this off of there, because I'm still curious as to why they would give anybody a cartridge. Because ideally you'd have to take this all apart, and there's your section. So I can now cut an ink sac the same length, put a new one on here, and clean the rust off of these parts, and know that this pen has been completely maintained on this date. I've already replaced the feed on the nib, and if you notice, when you put the feed back in, there's a channel in one side of the feed which opens on the top and sits in this part of the nib. So again, high maintenance, but the converter part, you now can see how you would have to fix it. And so that's just a new ink sac. And as long as you clean your nib, and I'm not sure, I can show you better now how this fits on the nib. When you go, this is the nib feed removal tool, and you just go like this until you have it right on that white part of the nib, and pull it out. And it does take a little bit of force, so I'm not going to do it because I just did it. But you see how that sits like that? So you pull the nib feed out with that tool, and this is how you give your pen a new ink sac. So now you know how to fix it.